7 seconds. Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakapadash. Also want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who seek this truth and sincerity, and also who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered four corners of the earth, which you so-called Negroes, Latino, Hispanics, Native American Indians. All right. This is our brother Yuan from Great Millstone, Detroit. Just back at you with another lesson. And I'm going to probably entitle this Eve, You Are the Nations, You Heathens, Put the Book Down. And what I'm talking about is when, you know, because we all know this book is for Israel, by Israel, you know, the real FUBU. But when some of the non-believers open this book, they always want to try to debunk it. You know, I was just watching a couple of videos from brothers. One in particular was this so-called Eve, and she was going to sit there and poke holes in the so-called Hebrew Israelite narrative. All right, so first off, Eve, you're not supposed to teach a man. Whatever so-called wisdom, which is not, just keep it to yourself. You know, you don't see nobody debunking Muslims, you know, Buddhists, but when we hit the scene, the so-called prophets, the Israelites, is a problem now. So I got two scriptures. 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. So, you know, majority, the prophets, they're all men, right? But yet you're sitting there trying to, you know, put your narrative and your feelings on the scriptures. So I had two scriptures. Let's grab this one. Nah, so we're going to get that Deuteronomy 28. Job 29. Sorry, 39, Slovakia. It says 39 and 17. I don't know what's 349 Slovakia. Because Yahweh have deprived her of wisdom, neither had he impaired to her understanding. And that just goes to show, yo, that's why you shouldn't be trying to teach a man. You know, scriptures say, you know, lean not to your own understanding. Because it came to a point at the ending of the video, you know, she was like, oh, what we're teaching is witchcraft. No. we just because we do feel that we do fit the curses of Deuteronomy 28 and other curses as well. Talking about we just want to be Judites to be the top tribe. No, real talk. I'm striving to be the elect. Now, if I'm anywhere on that tribe, hey, I'm happy. Okay, because a lot of people. Now this one goes to the so-called wicked Esau Edom, right? Because now when he picks up the book, like vocab, they get into that narrative that salvation is for everybody. And then of course they always get the Job, not the Job, but John 3:16, which is it's still a good scripture, but it's even more beautiful when you know how to break it down. So let's grab that. So this is John 3:16, and we seen tons of scoffers, tons of the wicked. Shoot, we even seen so-called Israelite pastors bring this out to us because it sounds good. So this is John 3:16, and it says, "For Yahweh so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." So it sounds, that it's for everybody, but that's when you have to get into your Hebrew and your Greek, because when you get into the word world, it gets into the word cosmos. Now, I noticed they do be changing the definitions of the blue letter, but when I first was learning this, I was getting into, a specific group, particulars, which was basically getting into the Israelites. Okay, so that's why you have to rightly divide the word of truth. You can get into books like Psalms. Let's grab that Psalms 78, because this book is a mystery. Not everybody's going to get it, and it's not for everybody to get it. Yep, this is Psalm 78, verse 2. And it says, "I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old." So when you get into that verse in Psalm 78, the second verse is basically, is riddles. It's things you have to figure out. Yahweh Shai spoke in parables. A good thing, a good analogy, and a good example was like the wheats and the tares. And, breaking that down, you might have somebody that looks like an Israelite, but they're actually a heathen. So that's a tare. But you might have somebody that looks like a heathen, but their line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So it's an Israelite. So he's a wheat. All right, things like that, and people don't really get it. All right, I wanted to get one more. Oh, and people, like to get into the word. Like I said, debunk it. They'll bring out scriptures, like I said, John 3:16, but they'll avoid two things. Like Esau, read the book of Obadiah. And then you have this dude, vocab alone, that'll say, man, the so-called Edomites is done away with, but where's your proof? There's no historical proof that these specific group of people are done away with. Okay. And then people, they'll get Romans, they'll get John, so on and so forth, but they always don't bring out the revelations, the last book of the Bible, the conclusion of everything. All right. So let's grab that real quick, and I'll end it off on that. I wanted to just make this simple. This was just something that was like bugging me on my mind, like Revelation 7 chapter. And I'll make the breakdown a little quick. All right, so this Revelation 7:3 is saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servant of our power in their foreheads. All right. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all tribes of the children of Israel. So when you go down the list, you know, you got the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and then you got the northern kingdom, you know, from Ephraim all the way down to Issachar. Okay, but you don't see Ham in there. You don't see Moab in there. You don't see Ishmael in there. You damn sure ain't gonna see Esau, Edom in there. Okay. So this goes to show that the Lord doesn't change. You people in this world are trying to flip the narrative to make it seem like either we're not the chosen, you're the chosen, or everybody can be drafted or accepted. But that's not the case. All right? Listen, the Lord is a true mathematician. We have historical records. Hey, shit, you can go in school. You know about the slavery for the Negroes. You know about the Martin Luther King days. You think everything that, like, hey, everything that happened in the world, the Lord let that happen? Yes, because we went off. Hey, like in Deuteronomy 28. But, you know, you got to pay for everything. Because, like I said, the MLK days, yeah, it was bad. There was lynching, there was hanging. Hey, we got records in Matil. But, let me see. Let me grab this one first. Oh yeah, Proverbs 11. Because the Lord is fair. He's balanced. This is Proverbs 11:1. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Right? So we know and have record of everything, you know, these heathen done to us. You got Psalms 83, which gave you all the nations that was confederate against Israel. And you can see all the history and things that was done. Like Ishmael, they were really big on slavery, right? We saw what Esau did to us in the transatlantic slave trade. To a point, this man has even got his own people in slavery. All right? So we got all records of what this man did. He stole, he killed, he destroyed. So he has to have recompense for that. We haven't seen it. So, here we go. This is a record. Let me get Zechariah. Zechariah 1:15, and it says, I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, but they helped forward the affliction, because we're his favorite. The Lord loves us. Yeah, he had to put us on punishment, and he was displeased with us, especially seeing the sight. But, you know, the heathens did way more. Having a kingdom, yeah, you're going to have slaves. But the Lord didn't say, hey, man, I didn't tell you to rape. I didn't tell you to do listen, we don't know everything that these devils and the wicked did to us, but we have some form of how wicked, how fucked up these people are. Okay. So like I said, you get into the book of Obadiah. Things of that nature. This man is going to be done away with. He's going to be basically a dream, man. But nevertheless, I hope this video was edifying. But again, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. And again, double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who's teaching this truth and sincerity, and also who rule well. Peace and salutations to the whole folk. I'll close out, say shalom, on to the next lesson.